other parts of life. And we meet the people devoting their free time to editing Wikipedia.
Next, it's Unexpected Elements. This is the BBC World Service, the world's radio station.
Coming up after the news, the show that looks at the science behind the news. I'm Marnie Chesterton. Join me and the Unexpected Elements team as we present the week's news centrifuged, sifted and concentrated into one science-focused hour of chat. Given the quantity of political shenanigans we've looked at, it's amazing we're only just coming now to an episode on things to do with a pineapple, the hunt for the particles inside the particles inside the particles that make us. Is it particles all the way down? Plus, are the tropical forests of the world becoming too hot to work properly? And can science tweak the most fundamental reaction to life? That's all coming up after this.
Hello, I'm Moira Alderson with the BBC News. The Kremlin has still not commented on Wednesday's plane crash in which both the Wagner paramilitary leader Yevgeny Prigozhin and his deputy Dmitry Utkin are presumed to have died. Their names were on a list of 10 people as having been on board. The BBC's Russia editor Vitaly Shevchenko has the latest.
We don't know what caused the crash or whether Yevgeny Prigozhin was indeed on board that plane. The latest we've heard from the Russian authorities who are investigating the crash is that all
Prigozhin was killed on that plane. A man who, since he set his men on Moscow 2 months ago, was perhaps Putin's enemy number one. However, the Kremlin liked to spin it. He and his number two, Dmitry Utkin, now apparently both come to a sticky end. That's if the Russian authorities are to be believed. This moment and the 24 hours preceding it in Rostov-on-Don in June were unforgivable for Vladimir Putin. An act of mutiny by the Wagner leader against Russia's top military command, then calling his men off halfway to the capital in exchange for supposed exile in Belarus. But it didn't seem much like exile. Prigozhin popping up in St. Petersburg, hobnobbing with African dignitaries and continuing to rail against the way the Ukraine war was being run from Belarus. The last we saw of him was this video published earlier in the week, most probably in the African Sahel, where Prigozhin said that Wagner would make Russia even greater and Africa even more free. But his days were likely numbered.
It looks as though it may well be a revenge attack by someone in the elite, possibly somebody very senior, on Prigozhin. And in fact, we had heard some weeks ago from a source that a contract had in fact been put out on Prigozhin in Russia by senior members of the business communities.
As the news broke, President Putin appeared at a commemorative event for the World War II battle at Kursk, holding a minute's silence for the Soviet dead as the wreckage of the plane burned. From the US, President Biden had this to say.
I don't know for a fact what happened, but I'm not surprised. There's not much that happens when Russia is not behind, but I don't know enough to know the answer.
No doubt clarity will be a long time coming. But Prigozhin is a man who courts attention, and if he is not dead, then we will likely hear from him soon. And if he is, there will be no tears shed in the Kremlin. Diana Magnay, Sky News, Leningrad region, Russia.
Well, Diana joins me now live from St. Petersburg, where Prigozhin lived. And Diana, my first question is just what the reaction to all of this has been like in Russia. I guess we never quite get the Russian people expressing all of their true opinions because they're scared for how it might be interpreted. But was Prigozhin adored domestically? Was he seen as a hero, as a war hero, or not?
Well, I think it's pretty nuanced. Nobody really knew much about Prigozhin until the Battle of Bakhmut. And then I think he was regarded and recognized as a well-respected commander. People didn't know about his past. They didn't know he was formerly a caterer. They didn't know anything about his troll factory here in St. Petersburg. They just knew that he commanded this Wagner force and had done very well for Russia around Bakhmut. And I think that public opinion turned and slipped after the mutiny, where a lot of people essentially accepted President Putin's view that this was treachery and must be treated as such. I'm here at the Wagner Center, or formerly the Wagner Center, where there is a memorial and people have been coming really for the last 2 hours that we've been here and laying flowers. And these are ultra-patriots, people who really stood behind Yevgeny Prigozhin. They've said, we don't want to talk to Western media. One man who lost his son at Bakhmut coming. A lot of people here shedding tears. One woman who was clearly a ultra-patriot saying, you know, this is just an enormous loss for Russia. I wanted somebody like Stalin. Prigozhin would have been a man like that. Here we have someone else come to lay flowers. So it is a steady stream, and it does show you how many people here, especially in St. Petersburg, did very much respect Yevgeny Prigozhin. And I think that was the point amongst his men also. He was a leader of men. He did go and get dirty down at the front lines with his rank and file. And I think that's why President Putin didn't quite know what to do with him after the mutiny, because there were so many in the Wagner ranks, but also within the military itself, who agreed with the fact that they didn't feel that the military command were leading them right, and that they actually wanted a commander who got down and dirty with them in the trenches. But 2 months later, this is what happened. And of course, we don't know who's behind it, but it is hardly surprising that Yevgeny Prigozhin, having really caused Vladimir Putin the most critical, dangerous moment of his career, should come to a sticky end. I think we won't know what happened. There is a great deal of speculation, but one editorial I read this morning in one of the pro-Kremlin tabloids said, you know, the West will blame the Kremlin for this, the Kremlin will blame the West, and of course on pro-Wagner channels it says traitors are responsible for this, Ukraine is responsible for this, but fundamentally the Russian people will most likely just accept whatever narrative it is that the Kremlin feeds them.
And Diana, I mean, as you said, lots of unanswered questions still. But if this is an act by the president to execute someone who'd, of course, challenged him in such a high-profile way 2 months ago, what does it do for Putin's domestic power and authority? Could he, in fact, come out of all of this almost more powerful than he was 2.5 months ago before all of this happened in the first place?
I mean, we're talking about niceties there. I'm not sure whether he'll come out more powerful, but he certainly looks more powerful than he did in the immediate aftermath of the Wagner mutiny. The fact that he sort of sat on his hands for quite a long time and seemed to forgive Yevgeny Prigozhin, having initially called him a traitor, made a lot of people question, what is Putin up to? Doesn't he look weak to have allowed this to happen and then not to punish the man who did it? I think now this will send a very clear message to Russian elites, to anybody who wants to stand up against Vladimir Putin, that whether it was him behind it, or whether it was someone within the elites, or whether it was just an accident, no good will come to you if you stand up against the Kremlin. That is a clear message. And no one is indispensable. You know, I mean, I'm here at the Wagner Center. It was a sort of IT hub. We came here to the opening in November last year, 10 months ago. And it just shows you how much money was behind Wagner. He could build something like this in the middle of St. Petersburg, spend huge amounts of money on it, do, you know, a tremendous sacrifice for Russia on the battlefields of Ukraine around Bakhmut. And yet, this is the end, 10 months later, to Yevgeny Prigozhin's trajectory. So no one is indispensable. And I think Vladimir Putin does like to sit and wait. I mean, it was obvious that he didn't want to react immediately to the mutiny. And of course, we don't know who was behind this, whether it was just an accident, or whether something was put on the plane, or whether it was shot down by air defense. And all of these theories are swirling out there. but it does show that Yevgeny Prigozhin perhaps thought he could get away with it after the mutiny, and it doesn't seem to be that way.
Diana, thanks so much. Diana Magne for us there in St. Petersburg. As we just mentioned, there's a lot of unanswered questions, but joining me now to shed some light on what we do know is military analyst Sean Bell, of course, a former pilot, and knows a little bit about planes and what happens to them in these hypothetical scenarios, Sean. So just talk us through, because you've been analysing the pictures that we do have of the plane falling out of the sky, and there's a couple of points you just want to draw us to from those photographs.
Yes, and as you say, all of this is caveated by we don't actually know what happened. The facts of it are that it does appear that an aircraft owned by Yevgeny Prigozhin with 10 people on board fell from the sky. And the things about the video clips, which are normally very illuminating because they can't easily be doctored. And if you look right at the start of the video clip, there's a little swirl of cloud, which generally speaking doesn't sit comfortably with the rest of the clouds. Why is that important? When I was flying combat aircraft, if a surface-to-air missile system was coming up against the aircraft, you would see that sort of vapor trail in the final stages of its approach towards the aircraft. And therefore, either that could be an explosion or it could be a surface-to-air missile system. The second thing that's worthy looking at is that there's a trail of smoke coming from the wreckage of the aircraft about halfway down. Now, that's almost certainly not smoke. It's probably fuel venting, and it's a large quantity. That is a massive damage to the aircraft that's caused that. The third thing is that very close to the ground, there's an image that seems to show that the aircraft has only got one wing on it, which would explain why the aircraft was coming down vertically and like a falling leaf. And the fourth bit, which I'm not sure we've got imagery for at the moment, but there is evidence at the crash site of the burning wreckage, but there's a wing distinctly separate from the main image. Now, you put all of that together, there's lots of reasons why that might have occurred, but that is not a natural accident. That is a catastrophe that's happened in the air, either from some sort of bomb on board. There was some sort of rumours that a case of wine was put on the aircraft last minute. The trouble is with that theory is that generally speaking, inside the aircraft it blows out and therefore probably wouldn't take a wing off, whereas a surface-to-air missile system or an air-to-air missile system generally tries to seek out the juiciest, meatiest part of an aircraft, and that is where the wing spar joins the main aircraft, and therefore that would explain why it potentially could rip a wing off, and as soon as it did that, the fate of the aircraft was sealed. Really fascinating, Sean, and I guess the conclusion from that is this wasn't an accident, whilst it still remains to be seen exactly who was responsible for this deliberate act. If it was President Putin, why, if he's willing to go this far over his own airspace with other passengers on board, why didn't he do so sooner? Why, in your assessment, do you think he waited 2 months? Yeah, we've been talking about Prigozhin for some time, and ever since that failed coup over 2 months ago, we've sort of expected that Prigozhin would disappear from the map. Why has it taken so long? Almost certainly one of the reasons there is President Putin was somewhat reliant on Yevgeny Prigozhin, and he didn't want to make Prigozhin a martyr. So what seems to happen over the last 10 weeks is systematically President Putin has dismembered Prigozhin's business empire. Some of it's been sold off, some of it's been taken from him. And on the Wagner forces, some of the Wagner forces have been assimilated into the Russian Ministry of Defense. Some of them have been sent out to Africa. Some of them were sent to Belarus. All of them gradually reducing the number on the payroll. And I think most tellingly, it was a couple of days ago where we saw the last video image of Yevgeny Prigozhin in a field, potentially in Africa, alone. He wasn't surrounded by anybody else. He was trying to flog Wagner's wares to Africa. But behind the scenes, the Russian MOD was also flogging its wares to Africa, because Russia is now set up its own lot smaller array of mercenary outfits. So all of a sudden, Yevgeny Prigozhin looked a slightly sad man, alone and watching his empire dismembered. And at that stage, most military analysts were going, this is the end. And funny old thing, President Putin has acted as judge, jury and executioner, and he is no more. That's what we're led to believe. Very, very interesting analysis, Sean. In fact, as you say that, to relation to what's going on at the BRICS summit, President Putin is giving a speech at the moment, and he's just said, Africa's our priority partner. We've got many joint energy projects. He talks about the amount they can offer them, and says that the BRICS bloc will only improve with new members from here, kind of alluding a little bit to what you said was going on in the background from Prigozhin's video. Sean, as always, thanks so much. By the way, today at 12:30, we'll have a special programme on that plane crash. Anna Jones will be joined by Sky correspondents and guests, including the military analysts Sean Bell,
who, of course, you just saw, and Professor Michael Clark. A special at 12:30. Don't miss it. Some other headlines to bring you now this morning. Patients could suffer severe delays as hospital consultants in England go on strike for 48 hours. Routine hospital care is expected to be affected as the bitter row over pay between medics and the government continues. People will receive emergency treatment as senior doctors provide so-called Christmas Day cover. Most Wilko stores are expected to close in the next week after a sale of the retailer fell through. The GMB union says it's been told in a meeting with administrators that there's no hope that most of the business will be saved. If 200 Wilko stores close permanently, it would mean around 6,000 jobs would be lost. Election officials in Zimbabwe have extended voting in the presidential elections to today after delays of up to 10 hours in mostly opposition strongholds. President Emerson Mnangagwa is seeking a second and final term in the country, which has a history of violent and disputed elections. A landslide in northern India has left several buildings destroyed, the latest in a string of disasters in the Himalayas, which have killed more than 50 people in the last month. These buildings were identified as a risk and evacuated 2 days ago, and no casualties have been reported. Now, thousands of teenagers across the country are receiving their GCSE results this morning. New figures show the overall pass rate in England is at its lowest since 2007. Students were warned they may get lower marks, particularly in England, in order to get back to pre-pandemic grading. Well, England has brought down grades to almost pre-pandemic levels, with the share of top grades just 1% above 2019 levels. Meanwhile, grades in other nations are still higher. Top marks in Wales and Northern Ireland remain around 3 to 4 points above 2019 levels. Boys have narrowed the gender gap, with girls leading by 5.8 percentage points, down from a 7.4 percentage point lead last year. And the regional attainment gap remains, with the top grades in London highest and most worst performing regions seeing relatively small increases in performance. Schools Minister Nick Gibb has told Sky News that the qualifications need to carry credibility, even if it's harder on pupils.
They have undoubtedly suffered disruption to their education. This particular group of youngsters will have suffered in years 8 and 9 when we had lockdown. But it's important to get back to normal grading. They've worked extremely hard to take their GCSEs. The teachers have prepared them well. So it is fair, and I think we want to make sure that these qualifications carry value and credibility into the future.
Well, Sky's Shingi Maririki joins us now live from Sheffield. And Shingi, you've been in and around students as they've been getting their results. What's the mood?
Yeah, that's right. So it's now cleared out in the hall, but there's been a real mix of emotions here, largely positive at Starr Academy, Sheffield. It's been a massive day for the school, who are having their first set of GCSE results today. And it's an area where it's a real mix of different backgrounds and a typically socially deprived area. So you've got the sense that these GCSE results not just matter because of the significance of the day, but also what they mean to students who have worked incredibly hard to get up to this moment. And I'm really pleased to be joined by the Associate Principal, David Boyd.
Thanks for joining us today.
Mr. Boyd, just give us a sense as to how you're feeling.
Incredibly proud. Our scholars have worked really, really hard, not only this last academic year, but over the last 5 years. No doubt it's been a turbulent 5 years with COVID, but they've absolutely smashed it and we're over the moon.
Yeah, and you mentioned the turbulent 5 years. Just talk us through how you worked around those challenges to get the students ready for their exams.
I think it's key support, so everything on a week-to-week basis, we meet to discuss our most vulnerable and our key scholars to make sure that different provisions are put in place for them. We've opened up over half terms, we've run half programmes, breakfast clubs, we run a period 6 programme where all our year 11 attend, so all those additional support enables them to be best prepared for their results and for their exams.
And this is an area, it's a real mix of nationalities and backgrounds. There's so many different faces and nationalities in this hall getting their results. Yeah. How do you feel about, supporting people who maybe are underserved by certain systems in this country? So
at last count, we were 52 nationalities. As you said, we were in the bottom 2.5% in terms of deprivation. We're really proud to serve our community. One of the things we work on is scholar accountability, staff accountability, and obviously community accountability. We've all got to work together to get the best opportunities for our scholars so they can go on to work, colleges, or stay here in our new sixth form that we're opening this September.
And lastly, how does it make you feel to see students come into this hall, get those grades? Some were so chuffed, so visibly emotional. How do you feel as their head teacher?
Over the moon. So incredibly proud. All our staff are. The turnout of staff today has been absolutely fantastic, and that shows the investment that they've put in. The scholars, they really have put it in. Over the moon.
Thank you very much for talking to us, David. And there you go. You get a sense of the work that goes into getting students prepared for those exams. And today was a real kind of human testament to all of those things. And you talk about the stats and the figures there and the regional divide, which obviously will impact students here. But at the heart of this will be students who are hoping they got the best results they can and then moving on into further education if that's their choice. So it's a massive day across the country.
And Shingi, best of luck to all of those students, and congratulations on the exam results that they have got. Shingi, thank you. You are watching Sky News today, and there's lots more still to come this morning. Firstly, migration figures. The government said it would reduce levels of migration, but has it kept that promise? We'll bring you the key analysis. I'll also speak to a Russia expert at Chatham House about the reported death of Evgeny Prigozhin, 2 months, of course, after that failed coup against Moscow. And Donald Trump prepares to hand himself into authorities in Georgia as he skips the Republican debate. A great guest on that at 11:45. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
I think it's the word that Mary Earps herself used, isn't it? It's hurtful. And she was clearly very upset about it, and even went so far as to offer to put her own cash into funding the availability of a shirt so that female fans, and indeed all fans, could support our Lionesses, support her. And I think it's a huge commercial mistake by Nike, and really sad that we knew about this before the tournament started. We're now hearing that they're going to try to find a solution before the next tournament. It's just not good enough, really, is it? There's reputational damage, there's commercial damage to them. They would have made huge sales on an Earp shirt. I think it's a gamble for Nike, isn't it? They didn't know at the start of the tournament whether Mary Earps would be the heroine or the villain. Turned out that she was the goalkeeper of the tournament, in addition to being FIFA's Female Goalkeeper of the Year earlier this year. So look, they clearly took a decision, turned out badly for them. But as you say, we're all still talking about it, and hopefully they will make a change and recognise that our goalie was the person that helped get us through to the final. Look, I think there are some real questions about how women are treated in sport in general. I think there are lots of problems around the kit they're expected to use, which is in many cases just scaled down men's kit, not recognising the different features of female bodies. So look, I think there are wider discussions to be had, but what I want to see is some recognition from Nike that this was a mistake and change for the future. Nike do have form for it. What I think is quite interesting is that they've recently released an advert for a sports bra, and most of the comments underneath that are actually about, we'll buy this when it's got a number 1 and Earps on the back of it. I think that Nike need to be thinking very carefully about the commercial decisions that they make.
Welcome back. The number of people who've moved to the UK to work and study has risen, despite the government's promise to reduce migration. The latest figures from the Home Office show the number of work visas is up 63% in the year to June, taking the total number granted this year to 538,000. The number of health and care visas granted also rose significantly by 157% to 121,000. And the number of people coming to the UK to study grew by 34%. Our political correspondent Tamara Cohen is in Westminster for us to break down the significance of this for us. And Tamara, we focus so much, of course, on the small boat crossings. Indeed, the government often guides us to focus on that within the immigration and migration debate. But the numbers here are just far, far bigger.
That's right. So the government focused a lot on what they deem illegal migration, people coming on irregular routes. But we're talking today about people coming here perfectly legally with visas to work, study or settle in the UK for humanitarian reasons. And the numbers of those are rising. Now, the government promised in its 2019 manifesto that they wanted immigration down to what they called sustainable levels. They'd given up on any particular number, but they wanted it lower. It's actually about 3 times higher than it was in 2019. And what we see in this data today is that the numbers still seem to be
going up. So the number of people coming on work visas to the UK is up to 588,000. That's in the year to June compared to the previous year. A lot of those people are coming on visas to work in the health and care system. The number of health and care visas is up 2.5 times, quite a dramatic rise. So you've got 121,000 people on those visas in the past year compared to about 100,000 the year before. I think what we're seeing, particularly with those skilled worker visas, is yes, it's true that there are a lot of vacancies in the social care system. A lot of care homes are crying out for people to come and work there, but you're seeing that it's easier than it has been in the past to get these skilled worker visas. The educational requirements and the time limit requirements have been relaxed, so it's easier to get these visas. So there's been some criticism from Conservative MPs earlier this year saying that the government should not just reach for foreign workers to come and fill these vacancies. They should instead focus on training British workers to do those jobs. We've actually seen similar criticism from Labour today, who say that the government needs to get a grip. They say that the number of apprenticeships in construction and engineering, for example, has gone down a lot in the last few years, and that's why there are shortages in those sort of occupations and people are needing to be brought in from elsewhere. So pressure on the government to explain why the numbers are going up when they said that they would go down. We also did get some numbers today about asylum, and we saw that the number of asylum claims is up slightly this year, but the number of people in detention has gone down, and the number of decisions being made on asylum is also rising a bit. So there will be some comfort for the government there.
Tamara, thanks so much for that, and particularly, of course, the angle there on legal migration. But as Tamara mentioned as well, there was some data on asylum applications which came out, increasing by 19% in the year to June. And our Europe correspondent Siobhan Robbins joins me now from Sangatte on the northern coast of France, and I guess breaks down the significance of these numbers as well as the small boat crossings continue in earnest this summer.
Yes, that's right. Just adding to what Tamara was telling you, as you say, we have seen a rise in the number of asylum applications by 19%. That's the highest they've been in 2 decades. But we've also had the release of the small boat statistics for the year to the end of June, and they have also gone up. So there were 52,530 irregular migrants which entered the UK. That's up 17%. Now, if we break it down to small boats, to the end of June, there were 44,460 people. 44,460 people coming on those small boats, and that is also up 26% higher, according to the Home Office, than it was the year ending June 2022. Now, the majority of those people, we're being told, actually came between August and October last year, and actually the number of people coming on small boats, they say, between January and June this year is actually lower. So who are these people that are coming? Now, the majority are still men. They say that in those figures, so to the end of June, the majority were broken down between 2 main nationalities, Albanians and Afghans. Now, interestingly, the number of Albanians coming this year has remained low. So it's because we're taking in the back half of last year that Albanians are still figuring quite highly in these figures. But the reality is the biggest nationality which are crossing in small boats this year are from Afghanistan. And the other big thing to note is the fact that more people are being packed onto these boats. They say the average number in the year to June is 44. That's up from 32. But actually, if we talk to people anecdotally here, the authorities here in France, yesterday they had to rescue people who were on a boat off the coast here. There were 74 of them packed onto the boat. And although actually the number of boats arriving in the UK in the year to June was lower, because more people are being packed onto them, more people are arriving. So still a massive issue for the government to tackle, despite the fact that they're continuing to work with France. They're putting all this investment into joint patrols. It doesn't seem to be deterring people here.
Siobhan, thanks so much. Right, we're going to have a quick look at the weather now. There will be showers around over the next few days with thundery downpours threatening the southeast today. It'll be another warm afternoon in the south, but perhaps not quite as warm as yesterday with more cloud around. There'll be a scattering of showers widespread across the breezy northwest and thundery in the southeast. The extent of thunderstorms across southeast England is a little uncertain. You're watching Sky News Today. Up next, we will be discussing with the Russia fellow at Chatham House the reported death of Yevgeny Prigozhin. Don't go anywhere.
SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. The whole of darkness.
So what did that?
Myself and the world in adjustment. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on The CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
In your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone. The best radio show. Only the best music.
Broadcasting live online. Turn it on. Turn it up.
It's your mouth. Bekutu, show them you got the cocoa set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker, Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Starr Radio. We don't go nowhere. UK, London. We they call them London for home. For here, we they call them London. And that's how you know. Just have fun and stay blessed.
Sit back, relax.
Hi there, this is CJ Buckman, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Starr Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you are.
The best radio show. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
In your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK. Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Smile though your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and The Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio. This is UK. Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Welcome.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio. Starr Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
Love for you runs deep. All of you makes my heart beat. You make the doubt they fade, Jesus, and that's what makes you great. Hold the world in your hands, the hand that made me who I am. Same for now, yesterday, and forevermore. And that's what makes you great. You are God. You will never change. You remain the same. To the end, you are God. One who took my pain, took away my shame. Lord, you reign. That's why forever call you great.
Okay, let me say massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth, and those of you on other planets as well. Want to welcome you all to the Thursday edition of the morning show. Today is the 24th day of August, the year 2023, with the time now 10:43 from the hearts of London. And let me take this opportunity to say good morning to my team this morning, Mr. Olayomi, Koiki, my colleague and co-presenter, and to Mr. Francis Guy, my able producer. To our presenters on Starr Radio UK, I salute each and every one of you. KB Bossman, good morning. He's coming your way this evening with a very, very special program on the Faith Talk, talking politics. Well, they tell me that I shouldn't lose hope, but he has still got some hope in Ghana. So he will be doing that program sometime this evening, exactly at 7 p.m. Let me say good morning to my Bishop himself, Bishop Adeshina. I hope you are doing very well. And all the team in RBS, I salute you. Pastor Mo, good morning. Anthony Adedeji, good morning. Shamsuddin, hey, I've not heard from you the whole week. I hope you are doing well. Good morning to you. Let me say a special good morning also to the one and only Sir Maxwell. Moyiwa, good morning to you as well. My brother Felix, massive good morning. Kojodi, good morning to you. Kofi Ali, good morning. And Mr. Malik Dramani Mahama, I salute you all. And let me put it this way, all protocol observed. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board the flight.
All of you miss
Flight 117. Starr Radio UK. And of course, I remain yours sincerely, the one and only.
Archie on Starr Radio. Nobody does it better.
Okay, so let's crack on. Well, if it's the first time of tuning in on the Thursday edition of the morning show, what was I going to say Wednesday? Yes, on the Thursday edition of the morning show, this is how the program goes. I'm going to bring you the quote for the day, the weather forecast to follow suit, then the travel update as well. We'll move on from there to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. It's known as Global Trotting. Then from there, we'll move on to have a look at some of the other stories making the rounds across the globe. But now focusing on Nigeria. We have this from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi Koiki. And then we'll continue from there and we'll look at some of the other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. At 12 o'clock, the lines are open for you to add your voice to the discussions. Then at 12:30, the curtains are brought down for the end of the program. So in the gist, that's what's going to happen today. So coming your way from Starr Radio UK, it is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. So let's crack on. The quote for the day says, to wait on God to create an opportune circumstance for you is like saying God should cook for you and feed you at the same time. So like a little baby can't do anything, so the parents have to cook and make sure that they fill their bottle and then feed them as well. But God gave us all this that as well. Energy. So don't sit alone and just say, yeah, well, I'm waiting for God. Okay, let's crack on. Let's move on straight to the weather front. Let me tell you what is happening on the weather forecast for today. Well, things are changing. Things are changing. So the warm weather that we've had for the past 4 days or 5 days, it's all seems to be changing now. Well, when it comes to cloud and heavy showers are expected to diminish as the afternoon draws on. However, a few may redevelop in places, bringing a further risk of lightning to some. And the remaining heavy showers will move eastwards this evening, leaving areas of cloud, clear interludes and largely dry conditions overnight. The odd spot of light rain cannot be completely ruled out. The total temperature is going to be 24 degrees, the lowest is going to be 14 degrees. Pollen level is going to be moderate, UV level moderate, and pollution low. Sunset is going to be 20:05 and sunrise for tomorrow morning 06 hours GMT. Alright then, so that brings us to the end of the weather forecast for you. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's take a quick break and I'll bring you the travel update. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, so keep your eyes on the roads, also keep you navigated. I promise I'm on the Starr Radio travel update that comes to every weekday from 10:40. It's now 10:49. So what is your travels like this morning? I can tell you assuredly on the major roads in London, no exceptional delays there. Now when it comes to the London Underground, we have severe delays, minor delays on Central and Elizabeth line respectively. DLR has still got path closures and London Overground path closures there as well. So please check before you leave. That aside, the London Tramlink has got good service and all the other underground lines have got good service there. I'm moving on straight to the river bars. Apart from the Woolly Trail, that's got plant closures. All the others have got good service. Also, we got the London cable car that is running a very good service there, and that brings us straight to the final segment of the travel update. Star Radio UK, keep your eyes on the roads as we keep it navigated. Now, so on the final segment, that's the National Rail, Cross Country West, Great Western Railway, ScotRail, Southwestern Railway, Southern, and Thameslink have all got minor delays. The Heathrow Express has got a special service, so please check before you leave. That aside, all the others have got good service. That is where we bring to an end the travel update for you today, Thursday, the 24th day of August, the year 2020. What? 3. Stay tuned. Don't you go away.
Tune in to On Point here on Star Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Star Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Welcome back to the program. It is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 9 minutes to the top of the hour, and it's now time for Global Trotting. Now, when it comes to some of the stories that we're going to be looking at in Nigeria or from Nigeria, we must tell ourselves the bitter truth. The nobleness of our profession is fast eroding. And who is speaking? Now, Professor Camilo Farge has warned the economic community of West African states that war is not an option in dealing with the Nigerian coupists that overthrew the government of President Mohamed what's the name of his other name? Mohamed Bazoum. Okay. And Obaseki says, I'm shocked, scared of federal government lack of plan for Nigerians after ending subsidy. And then where he's talking about palliative, deceitful promises, support for Edo people, and a former Delta governor and ex-convict Ibori masterminds plea bargain scam between Tinubu government, suspends CBN governor Emefiele, and all. There's a lot more going to come your way from there, so we're going to be telling you more about that in a moment. But wherever you are, stay tuned and don't even think of touching that dial, because there's lots going to be coming your way from there. All right then. So Lagos Assembly also dares Sanwo-Olu and rejects Olayomi, Egube, Motoso, and 14 other commissioner nominees. Wow, they are also flexing their muscles there. Why don't they want them? Do they think that they are not up to scratch? Well, lots more going to be coming your way from Nigeria, so just stay tuned as we bring you more from that front. It's all coming your way from Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. In other stories making the rounds this morning, Sudan, over 31,000 children lack treatment for malnutrition. Save the Children is saying, with the refugee situation, mothers struggle to feed their children, so we now receive many cases of malnutrition. We need prevention or preventative measures. And Niger coup, suspected terrorists shoot Ghanaian driver at Burkina Faso border, burn several trucks. The suspected terrorists shoot Ghanaian driver at the Burkina Faso border and burn several trucks as one of the as they are looking at it as a result of what is happening in Niger. Now, Zimbabwe votes as president known as the crocodile is trying to fight a second term. Will he? But well, we know that the Electoral Commission there has extended the votes of some of the strongholds of the opposition to today as well, because of the numerous people who were there to vote. And Central African Republic EU calls for more inclusiveness. And DRC former Tshisekedi advisor acquitted of intelligence with Ethiopia, or one of them. Yes, we'll be bringing you more on that front. Elections in Zimbabwe election extended for a day as voters in opposition strongholds lament delays there. So at times it's deliberate just to make sure that they are not able to vote, to frustrate them. Okay, now when it comes to some of the other stories making the rounds in other parts of Africa as well, in Ghana, we have the ruling party that will be embarking on their presidential nominee or the primaries this weekend. And as I did announce earlier on, KB Botsman will be bringing a special program on Faith Talk, where you'll be talking politics with some sound members of the party, and who and how they think that the nomination of the right person can lead to they actually winning a third term straight in government. Okay, Adra chiefs residents are threatening bloodshed if planned outdooring illegally and stool chief is not stopped on Saturday. And picketing at Bank of Ghana will endanger public order and at Independence Square. Police to minority. Why? Who trades at the Bank of Ghana like that? It's not like we'll tell you more about all that. Yes, the minority are thinking that the Bank of Ghana should not be allowed to go on spending 250 million plus in building a new edifice for their headquarters. And the explanation or reason being what? That, you know what? The old place is earthquake prone zone. How long has it been there? How old am I? It was there before I was born, right? So how come? My goodness. Now, children of late Supreme Court Justice fight over his estate in High Court. It's one of the stories making the rounds as well. And then GRCL, the Ghana Railway Company Limited, is collapsing. State's contribution have not been paid from October till date. So what exactly is going on with there? I saw the president was it sometime last of this week with the pictures of by some of the railway tracks and some of the trains themselves. So I don't know exactly what is going on. In other stories making the rounds in the world, well, Putin silent after Wagner boss Prigozhin killed in a plane crash. The Russian president speaks at the BRICS summit but doesn't mention Prigozhin or the plane crash. Well, he says it matters small and you can step on it and just squash it. It was something that was coming, right? So some were asking the question, was Prigozhin a dead man walking? Of course, I thought that he was a dead man walking. I thought that when he went to Africa, he would have stayed there. And even that, how far does the arm of Putin reach? It reaches every corner of the earth. Even to the UK, it did. And then people were had polonium. They enjoyed polonium, and some died and all stuff, poisoned to some extent. So we're looking more into that as well. What were the causes? Okay, and then little known U.S. Republican is a debate winner at a rowdy event. Mike Pence, Ron DeSantis, and Vivek Ramaswamy made a play for top dog. Okay, we'll be telling you more about that. But we know that the former president Boris did what did I say? That is Boris' dad. Trump didn't appear because he says that he has a court case. He has to appear in Georgia today. So he decided, well, you know what? I'm far ahead of you guys. So I'm not coming to compete with you guys. Some of the stories making the rounds here in the UK or in London or England. Now GCE passes 4 in England, Wales and Northern Ireland. And drivers who kill pedestrians face tougher sentences are some of the stories making the rounds there. Asylum case backlog rises to record high. The number of asylum applications has also increased by almost a fifth in a year, the Home Office is saying. UN judge UN judge says UK's 18 trillion slavery debt is underestimation. Well, so they say they have to pay a reparation of 18 trillion pounds. It wasn't only the UK that undertook that venture. We had the Portuguese, we had the French, we have the Spanish. So how much are they all going to be paying? But reparations, where will it be going to? Which countries will it be going? Some are saying that that's why they don't want to pay. But Well, you give us our own money. You cost us, so give us the money. Whatever we want to use it for, we can use it for, right? Okay. But the Prime Minister of the UK has said that he's not going to apologize for that. So if he says he's not going to apologize for what the UK did in that time, then do you think he's going to be prepared to pay a reparation there? What do you think? We're talking more about all this in a moment. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. Rishi Sunak apologizes for inadvertent errors when providing information about financial interests of the wife. Well, we'll be telling you more about that in a moment. It's now gone 11 o'clock. Let's enjoy this music, and I will be with you with more of the other stories making the round. Stay tuned. Don't you go away. Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones, of course.
This is Starr Radio UK.
In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
all I need. Toyota Sky, you care. Creator, you provide all I need. Take it over now. 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 Take it over now.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy. Well, welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to 7 minutes past the top of the hour. Earlier on, we had Owusua, Akosua Owusua will take the glory without tune this morning. Yeah, she's appeared on this show a couple of times with KB Bossman, and that's one of her latest tunes. So you wanted to sample your music for free, get in touch with us and we will do the same. But it is now time for me to take you straight to our North London studios, where I've got my colleague and co-presenter, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, all geared up this morning to bring you all that you got to know when it comes to Nigeria. And let me say, Yomi, good morning.
Well, a very beautiful good morning to you back in the studio, Mr. Archie. Good morning to all our viewers and listeners from around the world, and welcome once again to the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. And like you said, it is a beautiful Thursday edition, and there's quite a lot going on around the world, but there on the Starr Radio UK network, you can find everything without going anywhere. It is the African and Caribbean radio station in London, and at exactly 8 minutes past, there's a lot to discuss, and I believe that we will start maybe from UK, where most of the diaspora will be waiting for the result of the GCSE, and I'll be telling you more about that. But for now, let me come back again to you in the studio, Mr. Archie. Once again, good morning to those of us that have joined us as well on the sister broadcast on the network this morning.
Yes, I salute each and every one of you there on the sister broadcast, and thank you very much. I continue to share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite the pages. Before we come to the what those of us in the diaspora are looking at as the norm, we'll just quickly, for the sake of those who didn't listen to or join in or view what was going on Niger Voices yesterday, the BRICS and how Nigeria's involvement and everything is going to be like, especially now that we have in Russia progressing the Wagner chief who is no more, and repercussions. There are a lot of repercussions that could happen from that. The reliance of the West African states, some of them, on these mercenary forces there and everything. So, in a gist, what was discussed on Niger Voices yesterday, sir?
Well, every Wednesday we bring up, this very fantastic program on the Star Radio UK network between 6 p.m. local time and up to 8:30. And yesterday, I could tell you, it was a fully packed event, and the purpose of yesterday was more focusing on the BRICS. Why it has taken Nigeria up till now not to be a member of the BRICS nation. Brazil, Russia, India, China. South Africa was just added just about, almost after a year that BRICS formation came. What is BRICS? These are the emerging economy that a lot of us know, but the question then is, why has it taken up till now that Nigeria has not been part of this BRICS nation? It could be for so many reasons. It could be maybe because we didn't have what it takes to become a member, or probably maybe it was just something that it was work in progress. But we do know that the vice president was representing Nigeria at the BRICS summit yesterday. So quite a lot of Nigerians do asking, can Nigeria play a better role when it comes to BRICS nation? But it seems that Nigeria is lacking behind. That took us for more than close to 2 hours. We went back into, while Nigeria is not doing very well because Nigeria is not a producing country, we are a consuming country. We have 200 million Nigerians. There was also some data that we picked up yesterday that is also part of what we looked up to when we continue to monitor this government. 40 million Nigerians that are small-scale businesses. The government did promise that it will bring up to only 100,000 of them with the support of 1 million naira. And the question is, can we really think of 40 million numbers and then only 100,000? We're not talking about 1 million. We're talking about just less than, even, not up to the percentage, to elevate those in the small, medium scale. And when we say small, medium scales, it could be anything from somebody selling pure water, or just anyone in Lagos State or in Anambra, in Kaduna, in Zamfara, doing that small little businesses. But it seems that only 100,000 of them will be supported by the government. We went then further into some of what we should be expecting when it comes to those agitating. Remember that, as much as, self-determination is a right, it seems that many of those out there believe that what Mrs. Dupe Onitiri have told them, that the Yoruba nation has been declared, is literally bringing a friction. And the caller called it and say that declaration has been finalized by the United Nations, but there's no document to back such. So the question is, who is giving this narrative that a nation has been declared, and yet not a single country or news agency around the world has picked up a Yoruba nation declaration, according to some of those that are still listening to her. So a lot of reaction came back after that caller, but it was a very depth, full-packed program. And if you've missed that, you might want to go back on the Star Radio UK network, from the Twitter to the social media, on YouTube and Facebook, and also on the www.starradiouk.com, where you can find more of what took place on the Star Radio UK Niger Voices yesterday.
Well, so every Wednesday from 18 hours UK time, or if you're in Nigeria, 6 p.m., whatever the time is, yes, that program will be coming your way. It comes your way, Niger Voices with Mr. Olayomi Koiki. We get all the resource persons coming on to give you all the necessary information that you need. All right then, we'll talk about the BRICS later. But now let's come to one substantive issue that is going on here. We migrate to this part of the world so that we can better our lives, not only bettering our lives by working and making money and putting up buildings and all that stuff, but at least seeing that our children are going to be doing very well. Now, in our communities now, with the results, the GCSE results out today, have you had a view or some information coming from the various communities, Yame?
Well, we have, quite a large African community and Caribbean across different borders, from Sheffield, where I was monitoring that a particular school have 52 different communities that are represented in that particular school. So let's take it down to Hackney. Let's take it down to Brighton. Let's take it down to Birmingham. This morning, many diaspora children, I'm talking about those that have migrated to this country and they've given birth, and some of them are becoming even grandparents, will be looking forward to a very good result from their children that have done what we call the GCSE. We know that the African children are very, very good when it comes to academic, but the question is do we then have opportunity for them as much as those back home? We know that as you are going to be getting that result, you are not literally, you can take a short break, you could become, an apprentice. You could even decide that you want to go to university or you want to go to the next level. The question then is the kind of opportunity, the kind of education system that is here. The question is, can we have the same pattern in Nigeria today? I've been monitoring, what the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is saying this morning, and it seems already the Prime Minister is also responding, and this is how the Prime Minister, will be expecting the result out of many of our children, this morning, and I'll be bringing that up in just about a few minutes. But in terms of our community, we will be able to give the feedback tomorrow when we are back on the Star Radio UK, but maybe we might get one or two parents that will be watching us, and they might be telling us how their own children or grandchildren have performed in the GCSE. Like I said, back in Nigeria, when you're doing this kind of GCSE, I took mine in 1995. And like I always say, while we are preparing inside the exam hall, some are outside because there's a kind of exposition that is circulating. But it seems that as many Nigerian children that are also here have studied very hard, and we are hoping the best by the time those results will be coming out from each of the schools.
Well, that is a good one. That's a good one there. But let's digress just a bit on this issue. Do you think that comparing ourselves to the Asian community, okay? Now, do you think that we give the children, our children, the best in education? Because you take in my area, I'm not sure whether maybe there's a couple of Nigerians maybe living in the whole area, but not. And then I have a couple of Ghanaians living there as well. But mostly, apart from the whites, the Caucasians, we've got mostly Asians there. And after a program when maybe I've gone home and the schools have closed and the children have come, well, you see them shoving their children back for extra tuition. Do you think that we do get, so you get, I mean, I'm not saying that across board, no, we have top surgeons who are Nigerians, we have top surgeons who are Ghanaians and Caribbeans, I mean, we have, but majority of us, do you think we are able to put enough there to make sure that our children's education, I mean, they get the best out of it?
Well, I think from most of my friends that I've got children, we've got children as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, Nigerians believe in extra, classes,
mm-hmm.
To support, whatever is being taught in the school. So mm-hmm. yes, I believe that many of our children are not doing very bad, when it comes to engineer, when it comes to whatever sector they believe in,
mm-hmm.
Because they're getting that extra lesson, whether it's in the biology, whether it's in maths or English. And as a parent as well, we are not too shy to quickly tell friends and family if our children are lacking behind in their education. And I think, we do have uncles, aunties that also have been there to support, because it costs a lot when you're getting that extra lesson for those children. It could cost you up to 300, 400 pounds extra a month. But we believe that, community have been able to come together and also supporting as well. And we hope that more of our community will be doing such, especially those that are struggling at this very particular time when it comes to, the economic and
mm-hmm.
the financial strain on many households in England, Scotland and Wales. So we expect many of our community, those that can give those helping hand, as long as they are not going to be abusing those children, we got to remember that as well, because the last thing we want is expect them to making extra lesson only to find out that they're also having extramarital affairs with some of our female children.
That's true. But we want to congratulate all our children who are here, and those who have come out with flying colors, and those who didn't come out. I mean, in this part of the world, there are opportunities. Maybe you've not got a book head, you've got some technical bit that you can do. You can. Maybe you're a musician. Maybe you can write. Maybe you can paint. Let's get out there. Let's encourage them. Not necessarily everybody has to be a doctor or a lawyer or a solicitor. No. The other spheres, builders. My goodness, in this part of the world, you don't know how much money builders make. When you call one engineer to come and do something in your house, you don't know, it costs you an arm and a leg. So let's encourage them. All hope is not lost. If you're a parent and maybe the children didn't do well at this results, it has come out, don't be angry and calm down. Now continue to encourage them. There are a lot of opportunities that they can do well there. Listen, as a Starr Radio UK.
Richie Sunak says, congratulations to everyone receiving their GCSE result today, and thank you to hardworking teachers and parents for helping to make it possible. And on Starr Radio UK, we're also saying congratulations in advance to many of our children right here in United Kingdom that are expecting those results later on this morning.
Yes. Congratulations to every one of you. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. In our North London studios, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, I'm Archie here in the South studios, and we are bringing you updates from Nigeria. Now, we must tell ourselves the bitter truth. The nobleness of our profession is fast eroding. Who is speaking, and what profession are they talking about here, Yomi?
Well, it seems that lawyers, senior advocate of Nigeria, are one of the biggest problems, or probably maybe one of the biggest solutions when it comes to Nigeria. Let's first talk about the 1999 Constitution. You will expect that, for a very long time we've been talking about the 1999 Constitution, and it seems that nothing has been done almost for the last 24 years of the democracy in Nigeria. The same Constitution is used to take you to court. The same Constitution is used to challenge election that takes place in Nigeria, and the same Constitution has been as biased because it was put together as a military diktat. But the question then is, lawyers are destroying judiciary in Nigeria. This is actually coming from the deputy governor. Sorry, I think I lost that. Let's bring that back quickly. This is actually coming from the deputy governor, Ewurudujoka. What's he saying? We must tell ourselves the bitter truth. The nobleness of our profession is fast eroding. The deputy governor, Lawrence Orobuje, has urged legal practitioners in Nigeria to protect the image of the judiciary. Lawyers must learn how to restrain themselves, because by our conduct, we are reducing the status and the estimation of the judiciary in the eyes of the public. We must know that our profession is on the trial in this country, and this is coming from the deputy governor of Bayelsa State. He also added, we must tell ourselves the bitter truth. The nobleness of our profession is fast eroding, and we have to work hard to redeem the image of the profession. He was actually saying this when the joint delegation of Sagbama and Yenoga branch of the Nigerian Bar Association and the leadership of the Young Lawyers Forum. Even at, I think last week, probably maybe while I was off, some students were protesting because one of their lecturers believed to go under the pants than get them the right grade. If you don't allow that, you are not likely. And these are, new lawyers that are being prepared. And if already at the university, there's already sexual harassment, you can imagine what had happened by the time these lawyers are completing, whatever they are studying to become, criminal lawyers or lawyers to defend as many of the corrupt politicians. And it seems already that there might be a soft landing for Emefiele. I'll be telling you more about that, because from what we are hearing, a former Delta governor and another ex-convict, remember Ibori was there in the UK, sentenced, but it seems that there's going to be a plea bargain. This is now like a scam between this government and a suspended CBN, according to the headline. Former Delta governor and the ex-convict Ibori mastermind a plea bargain scam between the President Bola Tinubu government and the suspended CBN governor Emefiele. This is coming from one of the headlines in Nigeria. Star Radio UK. I'll come back again to you in the studio, Mr. Archie.
Well, listeners, it is the morning show. Updates from Nigeria, 11:24 the time. Now, when we talk about the judiciary, which is supposed to be the third arm of governance when we're talking about democracy, and if people lose trust what they have in them, that I know that when there is a case, when I come to invest in the country, when we are here and Yomi decides that we want to go and set a factory up there or set up a radio station there, and we think that things will take along nicely, and somebody now comes to say things or do things against us, and we want to take them to court, and we know that we are going to get justice from whatever it is, then it's good. But when that particular thing is eroding, then we have a problem, because investors, before they come in to invest in your country, they check for those things, because you might not know tomorrow something might happen, the land, there'll be a dispute. But if we're not going to have that particular thing, that trust in our judiciary, then we have a massive problem. But what have the judiciary as a whole, maybe the Chief Justice, how have they reacted to that statement at all, if any?
Well, remember I told you that the AGF has a lot of work to do. We've been talking about it. We couldn't even say much about him during yesterday, because we focused more on the bricks. Let's go into what most of Nigerians expect when it comes to the judiciary. We have what they call the NBA, the Nigerian Bar Association, is a non-profit umbrella professional association of all lawyers, and to be admitted into the bar in Nigeria, it's engaged in promotion, protection of human rights, and the rule of law and good governance in Nigeria. You've just given one of the most difficult parts. I remember sitting down in the Nigerian High Commission some few years back, where somewhere in Southeast, a project was almost 80%, and there was a change of government and a change of governor. The governor actually refused to continue with that project, and these contractors left everything. I'm talking about 85% completion, and we've seen that from Ajaokuta, we've seen that from so many projects. The question is, who do you take the problem to? You take it to the court, you're likely not to get the kind of justice, just as we see that justice is not yet being served when it comes to cases like Nnamdi Kanu, that was kidnap rendition. When we talk about so many other cases when it comes to the human right, the question then is the Nigerian Bar Association being honest with millions of Nigerians that are out there? As again, we talked about the religious intolerance in Nigeria. There's a particular case of a young man that was kidnapped, and the police says we never even issue any arrest warrant, but he's already in court. The question then is he going to get a fair hearing as the case continue in Lagos State, in Ilorin rather as well yesterday? So as many Nigerians have been subjected to the human abuse from the north to those in the IDP camps that are not being well taken care of, it seems, as the deputy governor says there, we've lost it already when it comes to the judiciary in Nigeria.
Well, if that is true, then we have a massive problem. But listeners, Star Radio UK, put your comments on our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, or Twitter, and I promise you one thing for sure, I'm going to read that. Okay, and all the other platforms that we are listening, you are watching us from, just put your comments there and we will do so. Now let's move on to the former Delta governor and ex-convict Ibori, who's masterminding a plea bargain scam between Tinubu's government and suspended CBN governor. What is this all about? What are they going to be doing? What somebody say legal gymnastics are they going to be doing now?
Well, it seems that the issue between the CBN former governor, and that's right there, we've been seeing Ibori, rubbing the shoulder again, back as a one of the big dictator, or one of the big man in Abuja. During Buhari, we never saw much of him apart from within the state level, but it seems that maybe there's a kind of code. You can see the holding of the hands between the president and Ibori, so it seems that they've gone a long way. But the headline this morning says a former Delta governor and an ex-convict, Ibori, mastermind a plea bargain scam between President Bola Tinubu government and the suspended CBN governor Emefiele. So what do we know surrounding this story that is developing in Nigeria? According to the report, gathered that Ibori, who was himself accused of a multi-million fraud in UK, remember that he still have a case of £100,000 that is about to be confiscated, spent time in prison, is now presently working behind the scene for Emefiele to plead to a lesser charges, and so that we can just get him released. There is an ongoing plea bargain effort by the embattled suspended governor of the CBN, the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, and the Nigerian government is being arranged by Ibori himself, who has now become one of President Bola Tinubu's allies, according to the report. The report also went further that Ibori was himself accused of multi-million fraud in UK. He spent time in the prison, but it seems that as at yesterday's report, fundamental right enforcement suit filed against the Department of State Services and the Attorney General of the Federation at the High Court territory by the brother of Emefiele have now been withdrawn.
Okay. I don't know how Emefiele is carrying the King James Version Bible in the background. I was like, why?
Maybe out of what he should have done before now, but it seems that he's finding God to find mercy on him now that he's in the dungeon of the DSS.
You see, maybe Daniel's story is praying to God to shut the mouth of lions. Who knows? But well, it's just by the way. Now, listen to Starr Radio, okay? 11:31 the time. Let's quickly touch on this story now. We thought that the president, when he came to announce the suspension of the fuel subsidy, the palliative and everything, those plans, I mean, so it's not a knee-jerk reaction or we just want to do that, but you want to do that, and then what actions are you going to take to help, I mean, as palliative to help the people? Now, Obaseki is saying that he is shocked and scared of the federal government lack of plan for Nigerians after ending subsidy. But I learned the other time that the government has appropriated some budget to every state. I mean, I don't know whether it's 5 million or something for every state.
5 billion.
5 billion to be used for that, to address that fuel subsidy thing as a palliative.
Bag of rice as well. Wow. It seems that some of the states have been either shortfall in change, or it seems that some of those bag of rice truck have gone missing again. I'll be coming to Obaseki. I was talking about this again yesterday on the Niger Voices. A particular local government in Ilorin was given less than half a bag of rice to be shared among all the communities. I don't know how they're going to do that. Maybe they have to cook it and try and get a spoon and get as much out of the cooking pot of the rice. But it seems that the Edo people are not happy, and that is coming from their governor, Obaseki. I am shocked. Not only shocked, he's also scared of the federal government of President Bola Tinubu lack of plan for Nigerians after ending what is called the subsidy. Bola Tinubu, the president, says that we need to stop the subsidy. It is not just right to be paying subsidy, and the petroleum is going to Niger, is going to Cameroon, is going to Ghana, is going to Benin Republic. But according to the governor of Edo State, Obaseki, says palliative deceitful promises to support for the Edo people. I am shocked that people who campaign around the country saying that they will remove subsidy had no clear plans what to do after the subsidy has been removed. They don't even know what to do and how to support those who will be victims of subsidy removal. This is coming from Mr. Godwin Obaseki yesterday, lashed out at the administration of President Bola Tinubu, saying he was shocked, scared that it seems that subsidy was removed, but the people of Benin City are now crying out, as many of the other 35 states in Nigeria are asking what is going to be done to relieve the pressure across the country. As Nigeria remains 130 million Nigerians in abject poverty, that means $2 up to close to the naira to dollar is 900, so you're not likely to get 2,000 naira to feed yourself for 7 days, 1 day a day, according to the United Nations.
It's quite an interesting one. Because I'm looking at the monies, the budget that has been appropriated to the various states, and it's 5 billion each. And I was asking myself a question: how can they give Lagos State, which has a population of up to more than 20 million, 5 billion, and give maybe a smaller state that's got maybe 5 million or the same amount, 5 billion as well? I mean, what was the brain behind that the way they dissipated that money?
Remember that the Kano State governor, talked about this as well, some few weeks back, that it is unfair, to how the palliative will be distributed. Some states have enough income coming through in terms of revenue, and the reason why Lagos is doing very well is because they refuse to allow the other ports. I'm talking about the seaport to work, like the Warri port was deliberately, destroyed not to work, just like the 4 refineries. So that means everybody, whether you are small scale business, big time businesses, you have to go through a Apapa port and deliver your container, and eventually there's a lot of bottleneck in that as well. But as many of other states like River State, where there's enough crude oil, but again, what about the other states that are struggling when it comes to resources? We're talking about Gombe State, we are talking about so many other states. We know that some of them also have not been very honest when it comes to the natural resources found on the soil, like some of the states where they've decided that the goal there is for Zamfara people, but when it comes to the tax from Lagos State, and certainly those that refuse alcohol in the north, and that literally means that you can literally sell alcohol in Lagos State, but we only need the money in the north, but you will not be allowed to sell alcohol in the north. So you can see that Nigeria is so divided in different fronts, but it seems that Obaseki is already throwing the stone, and I said when you throw the stone, you are likely to break the glass.
Well, in a glass house, or you live in a glass community, you don't throw stones, but he's throwing the stone. Well, let's see where it lands. Listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 11:36 the time. Let me pick one other story, and then we'll go back to Yomi for the rest that is making around. The Lagos Assembly has dead Soniolu and has rejected Abayomi, Egube, Omotoso, and 14 other commissioner nominees. Well, how is Soniolu doing this morning, Yomi?
We know that Lagos is an interesting state, that has different. I saw a young man, with a gamma lizard, on his shoulder, and I was wondering what bus is going to stop to pick him up. But as you can tell, you talked about 20 million. Everybody wants to be in Lagos State because there is opportunity in Lagos State, but sometimes it could be very difficult when it comes to the nominee. Lagos Assembly have now confirmed, they've actually confirmed them, 22 Sanwo-Olu's nominees and rejected 17. I'm sure there will be so many other individuals that are lining up. Maybe this 17, we're not sure the reason behind it, but what we know is that the Speaker of the House, Honorable Mudashiru Obasa, who preside over the day preliminary, said that the confirmation follow a rigorous and detailed screening. Maybe this 17 maybe have some kind of baggaging or bags that are not meant to be as commissioner. Obasa commend the committee for its effectiveness and all the confirmed nominees to always remember that they are in the office to serve the people. We hear that in the last 29 years, serve the people, but most of them are now trying to buy a house in Dagenham, they are trying to buy a house in Leeds and Turkey and Dubai, and then they forget about what is the reason why they've been appointed in the first place. However, the lawmakers rejected 17 of the nominees, and you'll be wondering why. Those not confirmed by the House, they have a lot of them in their names, but it seems that Lagos has so many people that they can bring on board. So I won't be surprised another 24 will be ready to enter the slot, and maybe they will find the 17 that they're looking for.
Well, if they will find it, no problem. The resources are there in Lagos State, so why not? All right, then, listeners, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Updates from Nigeria. Let's go back to Yomi for the rest of the stories and what is happening on the social media platform. Over to you, sir.
At exactly 38 minutes past 11, once again, it is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. And it seems that, as again, Wike, the new FCT minister, was yesterday saying that it seems that everybody says I've bought a new bulletproof SUV. He was not really happy about it. It seems that they're following what is happening on the social media, just as we are also telling them what needs to be done on the ground. So Wike yesterday brought in journalists and said the 300 million in circulation that I bought an SUV bulletproof, please check that vehicle and tell me if it is a bulletproof. But that is not where I'm going, because it seems that already again, dozens appear killed, others are trapped as Abuja high-rise building have collapsed. Maybe it's time that we refuse to build high-rise building, because maybe we don't have the actual engineers, we don't have actual architects that are going to bring these high-rise building into Abuja and Lagos specifically, because it seems that each time they go up, they're coming down as quickly as possible, and that is also having a big impact. A multi-story building collapsed at Lagos Street in Garki, Abuja, killing dozens of people, while many others have been trapped yesterday, according to the eyewitness who was at the scene. Confirmed this, that the building housed many apartments while the ground floor was full of shops. He said that the building collapsed during the downpour, which started about 11 p.m. local time yesterday, and according to him, there was wheeling all over the place after the building collapsed. So it shows that many people are trapped. But confirming the incident, the Federal Emergency Management Authority said 37 people had been rescued, while 2 were fatally injured. The Director General of FEMA, Dr. Abbas Idris, in a quick release this morning said 37 rescue had all been to various medical facilities in Abuja, while the rescue effort were still ongoing. So again, the question is, do we have what it takes to put out this kind of structure, or should we just say it is time that we stop building them? Gombe governor also decries federal government palliatives, urge people to embrace agriculture. The Gombe state governor, Muhammadu Yahya, said that they have only received 2 billion out of the 5 billion. Again, somebody has cut corners, and it seems that 3 billion has traveled somewhere else, while only 2 billion, I mean, you can imagine 5 billion, all you need to do is just transfer the money to the state, but maybe during the transfer, the money got hung, as one of my listener day before yesterday said, I sent £200 to First Bank, and it seems that the money has hung. It is only in Nigeria that you send money, and the money hangs in between, and sometimes it could take time before you get the money back, up to 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So it seems that 3 billion out of the 5 billion that was meant to be sent to Gombe State is no longer to be found as we speak right now. The governor, who double also as a chairman of the Northern State Governor Forum, made this disclosure yesterday at the grand final of distribution of palliatives at the Gombe Emir Palace yesterday. Once again, 41 minutes past. We take one more, then go straight to what is happening. Kwara police arrest Isheshe activist in Ibadan and detain him. As we have been telling you that religious intolerance is continuing in Nigeria, another Isheshe activist, Oluwole of Tede, Chief Ademola Olawore, has been arrested and detained in the coronation facility in Ilorin. I was listening to one of the legal representative of Tani Olong, and it seems that he has been beaten up to the extent that he cannot even stand on his feet. It shows that the humane situation in our police station, in the judiciary, is just as mess, and that's why many of us are saying that Nigeria needs now to be looked into, whether some of us still wants to remain in Nigeria as Yoruba people, as Igbo people, as Arawa people, because it seems, like I said, even the police says that we can't have a full confirmation that we gave the reason why it should be arrested. But again, there is now going to be the case coming back on Monday. We'll be monitoring that, and I'll be giving you an update on that. Let's go straight to the social media, where many Nigerians seems to be battling it down there, from those PDP to the APC to the Labour Party, and as many of those average Nigerians that are now crying out, especially those that have been brought to UK in the hope that they will have a job, and it seems they are stuck. I'm talking about those from the healthcare. It is already in the public domain that many Nigerians that have now paid millions, sold their properties and everything, only to arrive in UK without a job as we speak right now. So let me tell you what is happening on the social media. According to Neferati, First Ladyship, a full supporter of Peter Obi, our parents were fed lies for so long, and she's actually responding to Pastor Kumoyi. In 2021, Pastor Kumoyi said, pray for Nigeria. This call by Pastor Kumoyi for a special prayer all started in 1986. April 10, maybe Bola Tinubu will be the final answer to his prayer, because Pastor Kumoyi have been calling for the prayer for Nigeria since 1986. And we know that he spoke about a few days ago. In 2015, God ordained Buhari and Osibajo as our leaders. They will deliver. This is coming from one of the headlines. In 2017, God will give Buhari solution to Nigerian problem. And it seems that in 2023, God will build Nigeria through President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So you can tell that our men of God are still believing that Nigeria will survive. Let's now talk about what is happening on the other side as well before I come back again to you in the studio. Again, many Nigerians are asking questions. What is going to happen? Are we still going to have these Niger, ECOWAS, AU resolve, or is still going to be exploding? 50K is the tweet this morning on Bola Tinubu. IPOB is trending at 20,000, and it seems that the Wagnerites, we know that the leader of the Wagner, as confirmed yesterday, was in that particular private jet that dropped down through Russia area yesterday. So let's see why IPOB is trending again this morning. According to Simon Ekpa Akpawara, how and who prescribe IPOB? Tell me why these men should go free. It is time for a communion service. Drink the communion wine with joy. It seems that also the government in exile, when the criminal tell you Simon Ekpa is not IPOB, is asking us to watch a particular video. So quite a lot is happening. African Confidential. You call them IPOB a terrorist group. All you want, I won't stop supporting them. In fact, they have my blessing 100%, as long as their goal remain a total liberation for their people. There's no reason IPOB is known as terrorist group only in Nigeria, and the notoriously corrupt, lawless jungle with no regard for human lives, where majority are incapable of reasonable to them for themselves like normal human beings, and whose opinions are always shaped by the shame corrupt governor running their lives by weaponizing poverty to prevent them from ever rising up against it to break themselves from free. That is the same Nigerian government who rebranded Boko Haram, an infamous terrorist group, as mere bandits, are also rehabilitating them. We saw video last week where some of them are even protesting that they are not being paid the 30,000 naira they are promised, when many Nigerians are out there without no job. African Confidential went further to say there is also the same neo-colonialist government, and the number one tool of imperialism is Africa, so hell-bent on using its power and influence as the giant liability of Africa, GLA, to preserve the interests of the enemies of Africa on the continent, with his approval along with the fellow stooge in economic community of West Africa tyrant. Well, I don't know why he decided to articulate of a military invasion of the neighboring Niger Republic, fighting to free itself from the shackles of the imperialism. So promoting the narrative of that kind of moral bankrupt government about a group like IPOB fighting for their own freedom just like Niger says more about you than about it. And let's again remind us that it is only Nigerian government from the former President Muhammadu Buhari that hate the Igbo so much that even Twitter has to take him off for removing part of what he said, and he actually stayed to Twitter as well. 6 months Twitter was taken off as well. This is also coming from Toyib Adewale Adelodun. You are collecting £10,000 from your fellow brothers and sisters in Nigeria, and you know that you don't have a shift in UK. Later we all come online and say government is the problem. Some of us are heartless and also greedy, and is responding to so many Nigerians that are traveling to UK in the hope that they get a good job, but not knowing that they don't even have a shift. And so many complaints has been coming onto our desk as well. I'll come back now to you in the studio, Mr. Archie, on Star Radio UK Network.
Well, listeners, interesting stories making the rounds there. And let me say a good morning to Pastor Mo. He says, Tinubu must free Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho. He is a defender of humanity. Yes. And then Aziz also said, good morning, Star Radio team, Mr. Archie and Mr. Koiki. Well done, Yoruba Nation for life. Okay. Thank you very, very much. And on the various platforms, as many of you who are listening to us on all the platforms, we salute you and we say thank you very, very, very much. But with the Gombe governor, what has he said about this money? Where did the money go? The 5 billion. How much is missing in action?
3 billion.
3 billion. Interesting.
3 billion has traveled.
God have mercy on us. Well, listeners, 11:49. I hope that you brought all that was happening on the social media as well. Did you?
Yeah, we got it. Yes,
we got that was listeners. I was enjoying the whole thing, so I was just missing in there, just thinking of where this money is, so that myself and Yomi we can find it and make sure that it gets to the people.
I'm sure the money is still in the space. Maybe it went with the moon landing.
You got it. All right, listeners. Okay, this is why we have to bring the updates to a close. About tomorrow, remember, we're going to be coming your way again and bring you another update from Nigeria. But Yomi, before you go,
well, actually take you to the rest of the program. But tonight, maybe if it's not a stolen money and you are interested in the property hour, join us at 8 p.m. When the property hour is going to be coming up. But for now, I leave you in the good hands of Archie when I'll be back again tomorrow at 11 o'clock. For news update from Nigeria, but follow us on Twitter on Starr Radio UK and all the other social media platforms. Have a very good morning. Bye for now.
Bye. Well, listeners, that has been Mr. Olayomi Koiki bringing you updates from Nigeria. It comes your way every weekday from 11 o'clock. It's part of the morning show. So if you miss out anything on that, you just go to our broadcast and it will be there. I mean, for all those who are on the other platforms listening to us as well, I salute each and every one of you. I say it all the time, but for you, will not be here, and I know it costs you an arm and a leg, yet you find the time to do it. So why not? Good morning once again. Let's enjoy this tune, a special tune for the people of Gombe, for the missing 3 billion naira. And this one says, where is the dollar? It's from the Zongo man himself. He's asking the question. So that's the question by the Gombe people. Where is the money? Ayichuku says that kudos to you, Koiki and Mr. Archie, for the good job. You guys are doing it. It is not easy task to reform a black man's brain. My brother, I agree with you 200% there. But well, so let's go to the Zongo man. Where is the dollar? Where is the 3 billion? Where is it?
It's a disgrace.
Well, where is the dollar? Where is the 5 billion for the 3 billion for the Gombe people? They were supposed to have 5 billion, but they ended up only 2 billion has written them. Why? Did they write 2 checks, or maybe the money was traveling in 2 different bullion vans, and one came to the place, the other one has been kidnapped, or as Yomi was saying, maybe one of the distance that flew to the southern part of the moon. But whatever it is Starr Radio UK this evening, as we did say, yes, a special program. That's all looking at the presidential primaries for the ruling government in Ghana. So the primaries are going to be taking place over this weekend. We're going to have in KB Bossman have a host of some MPP speakers or whatever they call themselves. We're going to be joining on the program to throw more light as to how they are going to be taking the third term, the continuous third term, of course. Okay, so let's take this commercial break and I will be with you. But for now, you know what? The lines are open. You want to join in the conversation, feel free to do so. Call us on 0208 133 2257 or 580208 133 2257 or 58. And if you happen to be in the US, Canada, or the Caribbean area, it's 001-718-303-2737, 001-718-303-2737. You can text or WhatsApp us. It's 0753-966-1744, 0753-966-1744. Our Twitter handle is Starr Radio UK, and email address is info@starradiouk.com. Let's take this break, and I'll be with you.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and intact? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination intact. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well, Lamb Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Tune in to On Point here on Star Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Welcome back to the program. It is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to a minute after 12. And so we got about another 29 minutes to do justice to all the other stories that's making the rounds this morning. But do me a massive favor. Stay with me. Stay with me. Spend just one more day with me. Don't go away. Just stay tuned. Just stay tuned. Just stay tuned whilst I bring you okay. All right then. Okay, so now let's move on to the rest of the story. As I did say, yeah, the lines are open. If you want to hop in, you can do so wholeheartedly, freely, or what term do you want me to use? Whatever you want to do, just get on board. Okay. All right then. So now let me move on to some of the other stories making the rounds, especially those in on the African continent. Now, Senegal, religious leaders call on opposition leader Sonko to end hunger strike. Now, an influential Senegalese religious leader has called on opposition politician Ousmane Sonko, who has been detained since the end of July, to end his hunger strike. Now, he thinks that is what is going to make him get a redress that he wants. I think that the justice system didn't work, but everything was put together to actually push him out of the race or actually impact him negatively. So, an influential Senegalese religious leader has called on opposition politician Ousmane Sonko, who has been detained since the end of July, to end his hunger strike, adding his voice to numerous calls for him to do so in the light of news about his state of health. Mr. Sonko, whose power struggle with authorities and judiciary has kept Senegal on tenterhooks for more than 2 years, began his hunger strike on 30th of July. He has been in hospital since 6th of August and was admitted last week to intensive care, according to his lawyers. Many have expressed concerns for his health, while others are calling for his release. One of his lawyers, Claire Olai, has reported a serious deterioration in his condition, preventing his defenders and personal doctors from seeing him. He called for his urgent release in view of the imminent risk to his life. A delegation from the coalition to which Mr. Sonko belongs was received on Tuesday by the head of powerful Morid Brotherhood, the Khalifa General Sering Mutaka Mbake. The Khalifa asked him to pass on to Mr. Sonko his appeal for him to start eating again, said a member of the delegation on the condition of anonymity. He had dates sent to Mr. Sonko, the same source said. Now, religious leaders often play the role of political mediators. So, have they actually spoken to the presidency or the government? And what are the decisions? Are they going to let him off and then whatever happens from there, it is all coming away from Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, in Gabon, investigation opened on a recording attributed to the opposition. Well, and there's going to be a presidential election there as well. Now, Gabonese justice opened an investigation on Tuesday evening for remarks which suggest an attack on state security after the broadcast of the recording of a conversation attributed to candidates in the presidential election on Saturday and to another opposition figure, announced the public prosecutor of Libreville. The main opposition platform, Alternance 2023, from which the two personalities come, had categorically denied in a press release Monday evening the veracity and authenticity of this conversation. She had invoked shameful manipulation and unacceptable practices of the regime. Alternation 2023 had agreed on Friday, 8 days before the ballot, on a common candidate, Albert Ondo Osa, chosen from among 6 of his contenders for the Supreme Magistracy. Mr. Ondo Osa therefore presents himself as the most serious rival of President Ali Bongo Ondimba, who is seeking a third term on Saturday after 14 years in power. It is the recording of a conversation lent to Mr. Ondo Osa with one of the candidates who withdrew in his favor, Alex Barrow Chambria, which is the subject of the investigation. It was widely taken up on social networks and in public and private Gabonese media. An audio recording circulating on social networks causes very strong emotion because of its shocking content, and will be a recording of a conversation between two politicians who are candidates for presidential election, assures the prosecutor of the Republic of Libreville, Andre Patrick Robrenant, in a press briefing broadcast by the public media. In this conversation, particular serious remarks are made on several occasions which suggest an attack on state security, he adds in his address. Now, is it in context or was it taken out of context? Okay, let's move on. There's still heavy fighting on the way in Sudan, Khartoum, for control of that part of the world, and we'll follow that closely. And then in Zimbabwe, well, yesterday the election took place, but there's been an extension in the strongholds of the opposition. Now, election officials extended the voting in Zimbabwe's presidential election until Thursday after delays of up to 10 hours in mostly opposition strongholds as President Emmerson Mnangagwa seeks a second final attempt in a country with a history of violent and disputed elections. Now, chaotic scenes characterized some polling stations in Zimbabwe as ballot papers that had been delivered up to 10 hours late ran out, forcing officials to suspend voting Wednesday night in many stations, especially in large urban areas including the capital Harare. At the Hague Park Primary School polling station in Harare, people shoved and shouted at election officials and police officers after they were told to return Thursday morning because ballot papers for local council election had run out. "We are not going anywhere. We will sleep here," people who had waited since early morning shouted in chorus. Now, some stations had not received ballot papers by 7 p.m. when voting was scheduled to close. Wow! Interesting! Free and fair election! Woo! Wow. It is all coming away from Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, let me bring you a final story from this point, and then we move on to other parts of Africa as well. As the Central African Republic, EU, calls for more inclusive democratic process. The European Union on Wednesday called for a more inclusive and transparent democratic process in the Central African Republic, where a new constitution approved by referendum allows President Faustin Achanga Touadera to run for a third term. 2025. The Constitutional Court in the Central African Republic validated on Monday a draft new constitution approved at the end of July by referendum by more than 95% in this country, among the poorest in the world where violence has persisted in certain parts of the territory since the start of the war calendar in 2013. The new fundamental law abolishes the limit of 2 successive presidential terms and extends the duration of these terms from 5 to 7 years, a change denounced by the opposition. Starr Radio UK, which accuses Mr. Todera of wanting to remain president for life. The EU takes note of the results of the constitutional referendum in the Central African Republic, wrote on ex-Twitter Peter Stano, spokesman for the head of European diplomacy, Joseph Borrell. He expressed the union's concerns at the continuing polarization of the political context. The EU calls for more inclusive and transparent democratic process in the Central African Republic, he added. On Tuesday evening, the United States expressed its deep reservations about the turnout in the referendum and called on the Central African authorities to announce a date for holding of a new elections. Well. Would that bring about any difference? Listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And a friend says, power corrupts. And absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. Starr Radio UK. I'm moving on to look at some of the other stories making the rounds this morning. Let me say good morning to Michael Nujomo and Princess Matikole, celebrating your birthday. So that's salute each and every one of you. The Finance Ministry has underscored the government's unwavering dedication to meeting its forthcoming financial obligations within the domestic debt exchange program. This declaration follows the successful settlement of the initial coupon payment under the DDEP, which amounted to approximately 2.4 billion Ghana cedis, implemented in 2022 as a strategic initiative to alleviate Ghana's unsustainable debt burden. The DDEP has been pivotal in restructuring the nation's fiscal landscape. This program allowed eligible bondholders the option to exchange their existing bonds for new ones featuring extended maturities and reduced interest rates. In a press release issued on Wednesday, the Ministry of Finance said, under the terms and conditions of the DDEP, which was launched on December 5th, 2022, to complete government fiscal program, the first coupon of the tendered bonds were due on August 22nd, 2023. Accordingly, on Tuesday, August 22nd, 2023, government honored its commitment and fully settled the first coupon due from the DDEP in the amount of approximately 2.4 billion Ghana cedis. The Finance Ministry affirmed the government dedication to upholding all future financial responsibilities as per the stipulation of the new arrangement. Furthermore, the issuance of these new bonds has cemented their prominence as prevailing instrument in Ghana's domestic bond market, which augments the groundwork for a robust economic recovery. The Ministry of Finance has also asserted the government's unshakable support for the triumph of the new bonds and the development of a reliable and robust domestic securities trading market. The ministry seized the opportunity to express its gratitude to all stakeholders, particularly bondholders, who actively answered the national call and took part in the DDEP. Interesting one there. And it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. In other development, picketing at the Bank of Ghana will endanger public order and at Independence Square. That's what the police are telling the minority. The Ghana Police Service has stated that picketing at the Bank of Ghana will endanger public order and security. In the statement after a meeting held with the minority on Wednesday, the police have advised the minority commence the protest from the front stage of Parliament House through Osu Cemetery traffic lights and terminate at the Independence Square. The Bank of Ghana is a security. The Bank of Ghana is a security installation, and accordingly, the protests and picketing around the installation may endanger public order, public safety, and the running of essential services. That the route from Makola through Rawlins Park and Opera Square are always overcrowded and overpopulated due to human and vehicular traffic. considering the nature of activities during the day, security can easily be compromised. In that regard, using such route may lead to violence, endanger public order and public safety. Regional Commander, Accra Commissioner of Police, Dr. Saibu Pabi Gariba explained. The Accra Regional Police Command, on behalf of the police administration, conveys its sincerest gratitude to the leadership of the minority in Parliament for honouring our invitation following our engagement with our at the regional public headquarters on Wednesday regarding the notification of public protests scheduled for Tuesday, 5th of September. The command states as follows, and the Bank of Ghana is a security installation, and as I did say, he said that they would not allow that the demonstration should terminate at the Independence Square. All right then, it is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. A final story from Ghana, and then we can move on. Stay tuned and don't you go away. But the Ghana Railways Working Union has demanded that their 3-month salary arrears, as well as over a year's worth of unpaid SNATE and Tier 2 contributions, be paid. Now, Godwill Ntama, General Secretary of the Railway Workers Union, stated at a press conference in Takoradi that life has become very difficult for railway workers due to operational challenges that have rendered the company heavily indebted. He told journalists that their current request is to meet the President of the Republic to discuss the challenges they face. However, efforts to meet with the President to discuss these issues raised have been futile. He lamented that SNATE had also taken the company to court because SNATE's contributions for workers were late from October 2022 to present. He also stated that given the company's current challenges, it is impossible for it to generate funds to sustain itself. So what has brought about the lack of funds or operational funds for the Ghana Railway Company Limited? What exactly has taken place there? This is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 17 minutes past the top of the hour, so we've got about another 13 minutes to bring the program to a close. Wherever you are, don't touch the dial, but continue to stay tuned and share your take with me. The Kremlin has still not commented on Wednesday's plane crash, in which Wagner's leader Yevgeny Prigozhin is presumed to have died. Now, Russia's President Vladimir Putin made no mention of the crash as he addressed an international summit via video link. Authorities say all 10 people on the plane were killed near Moscow, and passengers included Prigozhin and his right-hand man Dmitry Utkin were also part of it. There's huge speculation about what happened. UK defense sources says that Russia FSB intelligence agency is most likely to be responsible. The Wagner mercenary group was very active in Ukraine until Prigozhin led a short-lived mutiny in June. Putin called it a treachery at the time. Is that what had brought about the end of his life? The apparent death of Yevgeny Prigozhin feels like spotlight is less on Ukraine during this year's Independence Day. The news is being privately welcomed, but the collapse of the Russian regime was a hope for way of this war here. Now, should a military victory not materialize for Ukraine, the relentless attrition of the front line is rarely affected by events closer to Moscow. Once again, here in Kyiv, damaged Russian tanks lying Kreshchak, the city main city street. It is a celebration of both Kyiv's survival and continued defense against Russia's full-scale invasion. It's also seen as an opportunity to boost the country's morale. Okay, but the FSB has not responded, and as the whole thing went on, well, it's quite an interesting one, and there have been questions on the lips of most people. Was Prigozhin a dead man walking, or what? Okay, we'll talk more about that tomorrow. But for now, 90 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's move on to a couple of news that is making the rounds, and this time around in Japan. Japan has began releasing treated radioactive water from Fukushima plant into the Pacific Ocean 12 years after a nuclear meltdown. The UN atomic regulator says the discharge is safe and will have negligible impact on humans and the environment. But China has slapped a ban on Japanese seafood, and there have been protests in Japan and South Korea. Japan says it has filtered the water to one main radioactive isotope, tritium, that can be removed from water, so it has been diluted. The limit for tritium in the Fukushima water is 1,500 becquerel per liter. That is 6 times less than the World Health Organization's limit for drinking water. Experts also say there is no scientific evidence backing concerns around seafood as the radiation release is low. I mean, I love my seafood, so am I going to eat some seafood that is coming from Japan now, or am I going to take a sit back and just somebody say chillax and have some red meat? Ha ha ha. Well, because somebody say you can have chicken. Now, the first Republican presidential debate was a rowdy affair that saw the 8 candidates leap headlong into heated exchanges. There were some who thought it would be boring without Donald Trump, the ultimate showman, but that was decidedly not the case. The former president may have been the life of the party during primary debates back in 2016, but the 8 rivals who traveled to Wisconsin proved they could bring some excitement without his help. Now, some candidates stood out from the pack, however, and some seemed to languish on the sidelines. Here is a rundown of the winners and the losers. Vivek Ramaswamy, the man who never ran for public office and didn't even vote for a president from 2004 to 2020, simply dominated this Republican debate with a broad smile and a quick tongue. He frequently seemed to be the only candidate on the stage who was enjoying himself. That may partly be because this political novice has exceeded expectation and is essentially playing with its with house money while he takes center stage. He easily fended off swipes from his fellow candidates, suggesting Mr. Christie was auditioning for a show on left-leaning news channel, and Mr. Harley was angling for spots on the board of defense contractors with her position on Ukraine. I am the only person on stage who is bought and paid for, he said during a discussion of climate change, prompting cries of outrage from his rivals. Wow. He's an obvious, of course. I've never seen him around, but he's making the headlines. Well, would that sway the support of Republicans to him? This is the first one. I don't know how well the vice president did there as well. But well, Mike Pence, he should be the front runner of that without Trump being around. But let's see what is happening there. Or Ron DeSantis. But let's see what happens on the next round or in the next round. It is all coming your way from Starr Radio, okay? I caught up a couple of stories from here, and that will bring the program to a close. Now, what happens if you fail everything your GCSE question answered? We know our children have gone out to receive their GCSE reports today, and congratulations. And if it happens that maybe you failed everything, listen, there is still hope. That's why when I meet the youth, especially those from the minority side, when I meet them in town or maybe outreach or something, and I talk to them, I tell them, look, this is a land of so much potential. All that you need to do is keep your head down, look for it, and you will make it. Don't be following blindly. And don't look at the fact that this one is wearing that and this one is doing that, so I also have to do it. Put your head down. There is time for everything. This is the time that you need to learn. This is the time that you need to discover yourself. And when that is done, you'll be able to go on and make great things. All right, one final story from here. A UN judge says the UK is likely to owe more than 18 trillion pounds in reparation for its historic role in the transatlantic slavery. It seems lots of people are not talking about it. A report co-authored by the judge Patrick Robinson says the UK should pay $24 trillion or 18 trillion pounds for its slavery involvement in 14 countries. But Mr. Robinson said the sum was an underestimation of the damage caused by the slave trade. He said he was amazed some countries responsible for slavery think they can bury their heads in the sand. Once a state has committed a wrongful act, it is obliged to pay reparations, said Mr. Robinson, who presided over the trial of Slobodan Milosevic, the former Yugoslav president. Now, Mr. Robinson spoke to the BBC ahead of the keynote speech at an event to mark UNESCO's Day for Remembering the Transatlantic Slave Trade and Abolition at London City Hall on Wednesday. He's been a member of the International Court of Justice since 2015 and has been researching reparations as part of his honorary presidency of the American Society of International Law. He brought together a group of economists, lawyers, and historians to produce the Battle Group Report on reparations for transatlantic chattel slavery. The report, but Rishi Sunak rejected calls to pay slavery reparations. We'll come again, we'll look at that later on. That the report, which was released in June, is seen as one of the most comprehensive attempts yet to put figures on the harms caused by slavery and calculate the reparations due by each country. In total, the reparation to be paid 31 former slave holding states, including Spain, the United States, and France, amounted to $107.8 trillion. The report calculates the valuation is based on assessment of 5 harms caused by slavery and the wealth accumulated by countries involved in the trade. The report set out decades-long payment plans but says it is up to government to negotiate what sums are paid and how. In his speech at the London Mayor's office, Mr. Robinson said reparations were necessary for the completion of emancipation. And that is where the other time I was talking about it, that, well, you know, last Sunday I was a chance on a broadcast from one astound preacher, man of God, and he was talking about the fact that during those days, during the slave trade, they had slave Bibles, and the slave Bibles never talked about emancipation, never. So they extracted something. Then you have to be obedient to your masters, and you don't have to speak out against authority. Blah blah blah. They pick those ones and just put it there to them that's what's in the Bible and that's what they have to read. So for this man to now come and say, you know what, we got to make sure that they pay this reparations, I bet you, they're going to say nothing of the sort did happen. Nothing of the sort did happen. But did the Second War happen? Somebody say yes. Were the Jews killed, murdered? Somebody say yes. Have reparations been paid? Somebody will say yes. The war that is going on in Ukraine, haven't they even now, even at the war has not ended, talked about reparation when the whole thing just ends? Because they're going to say that they're going to surcharge Russia for the damage that has been caused to another country. But what about the human damage that was caused? That can never be brought back. How do we reparate? Well. He said the high figures in the Battle report constitute a clear, unvarnished statement of the grossness of slavery. In his own speech, London Mayor Sadiq Khan said the transatlantic slave trade remains the most degrading and prolonged act of human exploitation ever committed. There should be no doubt or denial of the scale of Britain's involvement in this depraved experiment, Mr. Khan said. Well, listeners, this is where I have to bring the program to a close for today. As I did say, there's lots more that will be discussed on this issue. And the Prime Minister denying this, saying that he's not going to apologize for it, and they're not going to be paying any reparation for that. He needs to come again. Is it because it didn't happen in Asia? Is that why he's saying so? If it did happen there, wouldn't he be one of the first people to say that, well, they needed to be compensated for that? Well. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And it has been me, Archie, saying have a top of the day. But let's take this break. I'll bring you a tune and we'll all go away. Stay tuned, don't you go away.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Okay, so that is the program that's going to be taking place this evening when we have KB Bossman on the special Faith Talk program and the MPP Super Delegates Conference. So, on that note, let me say thank you very much, Shamsuddin. Hey, Shamsuddin, you were late today, but it's good to have you. I hope you are doing very, very well. Have a lovely day. But this is where we bring the program to a close. But tomorrow morning, we'll be bringing you another wonderful program. And on that note, let me say it's been me, Archie. Have a top of the day and keep safe. And may Nigeria not happen to you, as we say on this platform now. Bye bye for now. But still, with the Gombe people, let me bring you this tune. Okay, there was a tune that. Okay, yes, let's enjoy that. Okay, let me bring you this tune. It is from Kobe Boham. And for those of you who have written your exams or have received your results and maybe you're not happy with it, or the parents, feel free. It is a good one. You can still make it. All right? Sit and write the paper again.
All right. This is a letter to the broken.
You fighting all the demons in your life that have wreaked heavy carnage. Don't be dismayed. I know you think that you're dreaming.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, looks like your problems don't seem to go nowhere. Just take a deep breath. People talk about you, it's got you feeling down and really stressed. Don't tell me you don't know the trouble that I've been going through. You self don't know, see, the same thing they go through, me self I they go through too. Who told you the lie when you fall, it's the end of your life. I heard a whisper from above.